everybody, welcome to the first ever Major Slayage Trivia Crypt, where we're going to do a deep dive into some behind the scenes fun facts and trivia about each episode of Buffy, starting with season 2. So this is our episode for the season premiere, When She Was Bad.
Right.
Which I hated the title of this episode.
As did I.
And it felt clunky and weird, but I learned that it is a reference to a movie that came out in 1979 starring Cheryl Ladd, Eileen Brennan, and Robert Urich, who starred in one of my favorite detective shows when I was a kid called Spencer for Hire.
I've literally never heard of Spencer for Hire.
Really?
Like, no frame of, that's wild to me.
Well, the captain from Star Trek Deep Space Nine was on that show as well. His name was Hawk. He was like the heavy that worked with the detective. Anyway, we're getting way off track here.
Yeah.
The movie, When She Was Bad, was about a stressed out mom who starts abusing her young daughter. So feel good. So that's what I had. So at least it's a reference to something.
Well, I found that it was a reference to something older than that.
Okay.
Like that title of that movie presumably was a reference to a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, There Was a Little Girl.
Yeah.
Do you wish to hear a creepy nursery rhyme?
Sure.
There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. When she was good, she was very good indeed. But when she was bad, she was horrid. Womp, womp, womp.
Don't love forehead horrid as a rhyme.
Forehead, horrid. Horrid.
I guess maybe in British you'd say forehead. It's like one of those things where it's like there's
horrid. Yeah.
There's an Australian drag queen named.
That's reminding me of your super great British accent that you did in an upcoming episode. It's really good.
It's terrible.
It's as good as James Marsters' British accent. Anyway, what were you saying?
There are certain things that work in an accent that don't work if you speak them in an American accent. For example, there's a drag queen, an Australian drag queen named Courtney Act. But if you say it with an Australian accent, you're saying caught in the act.
Right.
Caught in the act.
Yeah.
There's a Led Zeppelin song that's spelled D''Yer.
D''Yer. Dear.
Maker.
Dear Maker?
Right. That's how I grew up saying, why is this song called Dire Maker? In a British accent, you'd say Jamaica.
And
it's their reggae song.
Okay.
So I feel like maybe forehead.
Sure.
You say forehead and horrid must rhyme in British.
Yeah.
Right. Was Longfellow even British? I don't fucking know.
Who the fuck knows?
Now we got to do a trivia crypt about the trivia crypt. While we're on the subject of the title of this episode, which we hated, and we both pitched our alternate titles, you called it
Bad to the Bone,
and
which
I called
it should be that.
When She Was a Bitch. In other countries, the title of this episode was different.
Oh my God, I can't wait. All right, read them all to me, and then let's vote on which one we would take if we had to take one of these.
Okay, well, I'm gonna name a few, and then I'm gonna let you maybe guess some of them based on the country after you get the sense of where this is going. So, in Armenian and Swedish, the episode was called When She Was Evil, which is just a variation. In Czech, the episode was titled When She Misbehaved.
Okay.
Finnish, the title was The Touch of Evil.
Okay.
Which I feel like is missing the content a little bit.
Yeah, because also, like, first of all, she's not evil.
No, she's just
evil
cranky.
has a thing in this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we know what evil is. She's just being kind of a bitch.
In French, what do you imagine the French called this episode? No, but translated to English would mean knowing what you know about the French. Guess.
When she was rude.
The Metamorphosis of Buffy. So in German,
okay.
Do you want to keep guessing?
No.
Okay, in German it was called Under the Spell of Evil.
Okay.
I feel like Hungary always has interesting takes on titles of movies and things when they get translated over there.
Okay.
Mesmerized, which barely has anything to do with the episode.
Yeah.
Italian, which this surprised me because it sounds like the name of a ninja movie.
Okay.
The Shadow of the Master. Not a terrible title. It doesn't really speak to what happens in the episode.
Actually, it speaks to what happens in the episode more than any other title, including the one that it is. Literally, she is under the shadow of the master. She can't let it go.
No.
So she's a bitch.
Sustained.
Yeah. Excuse me.
I tried this during the episode.
You are absolutely being held in contempt of court. You don't get to sustain, overrule anything in my Buffy court. Guards, seize him.
Japanese. Buffy is a bad guy? ?
Okay, that's great. That's up there.
In Polish, the title of this episode was "When She Was Back." Welcome back.
Sure.
In Portuguese, similarly, The Comeback, starring Lisa Kudrow, which is getting another season. That show hasn't been on the air for 12 years. It's so weird.
Did you watch it?
I never have seen it.
It's really great.
Well, there you go. And then lastly, in Spanish, Buffy Turns Bad.
Okay.
So which one of those was your favorite?
Okay. The one that is the closest translation, I think, is Spanish. Buffy Turns Bad.
Okay.
The one that I think should be the title, because it tells us what this is about without being like there's a poetry to it, is The Shadow of the Master. That one's the winner for me.
I think I would agree. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got next for Trivia Crypt?
Okay. Are you ready?
I don't know how I could possibly answer that question.
Who played the Master in the dream sequence when he chokes Buffy?
I was wondering this when we watched it. It seems unlikely they'd bring Mark Metcalf back for essentially a cameo.
Right.
Where he has no lines.
And where he has to sit in makeup for
to be on screen
years.
for 9 seconds. Yeah. I would have, before you asked the question, I would have assumed it was just a stunt guy.
Okay.
But since you asked me the question, I'm guessing there's an interesting answer, because it would be lame if it was just a stunt guy.
Right.
So nothing wrong with stunt guys, but it wouldn't be worth asking.
John Smith isn't really going to have the same impact.
So I'm guessing is this a situation sort of like
dun-dun-dun.
I'm like doing the Regis thing where you're like, I'm letting you in on my thought process.
Got it. Well, Regis is kind of irritating as well.
It's sort of the thing where at the end of Jason Goes to Hell, Freddy's hand comes up out of the ground and grabs the Jason mask, but it was Kane Hodder playing Freddy's hand. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming it's someone in our cast. Based on that,
I'll give you a clue. It's not Charisma Carpenter.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, we're taking that right out of the spank bank. I'm going to go say Anthony Head.
Wrong. It is David Boreanaz.
No, that's fun. I've got a little bit of vindication for myself here.
Okay.
So you were annoyed that I brought up that Xander couldn't have known how long it took Giles to consult the books to win the bet. According to the Goof section of IMDb, Xander says 8 minutes and 33 seconds in response to how long it would take before Giles consulted the books, despite their interaction being no longer than 40 seconds. So at least I'm not the only person out there who clocked this.
Yeah.
Some other nerd
clocked it.
Also got that. Do you got anything else?
Buffy's new haircut.
Right. Which we loved.
Which is giving the Rachel.
Absolutely.
Which was a haircut I always wanted. Obvious. Can you imagine my triangle hair, my frizzy triangle hair in the Rachel?
You would have to what? You'd have to like take a flattening
like
iron to your hair to even
I would just look like
that.
A cloud. Like it would just be so bad. Anyway, the reason she cut her hair is because she had just shot Scream 2.
Omega Beta Zeta.
Over the hiatus.
Oh shit! Okay, Xander even comments about her hair, like it's a big deal that she changed her hair.
I genuinely, it's been a while since I've seen Scream 2. I think even when we did it on KK Sam, I believe Kim told me, because I told her that it had been so long since I'd seen it, that like I would be able to participate in the game. I literally can't even picture her in Scream 2.
Very interesting.
As Cece? Like what was her like story arc? Who was she?
So a little blonde girl gets murdered by Ghostface. That's
okay. She's not.
I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, like I can't even grab it.
Yeah,
it's
no,
so
she did a lot of stuff
because I can grab her
this.
from I know
you know what I did last.
You know what I did last. You know what you did last summer. Yeah.
Speaking of which, we're gonna do a live watch of that on July 16th.
Yes.
On Patreon. So if you're seeing this, you're a member of the Patreon. Check back for the link closer to that date. And you can chat with us live while we watch I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
So be sure and check that out when it gets here. The last thing I had was just an article that I read that I found really interesting, and I will link to it in the show notes. But the guy that we really liked in this episode, the vamp who like gives the sermon, and then this guy comes out with a sledgehammer and gets burned up. He did have a character name. We talked over the watch along, so we missed his name, but his name is Absalom.
Oh, okay.
He was the first Black character on this show to have a name.
Not great.
So we're in the second season already, and he's one of only 10 Black characters on the show named characters. So this article was interesting in that it talked to some of the actors who've been on the show. I think Tara Benson, Amber Benson,
yeah.
Amber Benson being one of them. Which is like, yeah, it's embarrassing how white this show was.
Yeah.
And so I think we do get some interesting characters of color, but it's definitely a symptom of the time. This show isn't alone in that. Friends was a terribly white show.
Yeah.
Seinfeld, a lot of big shows in this era were not diverse. And it just, the fact that we can clock that now, I think shows that we have made some progress. We're not all the way there yet, but I just found it interesting.
I'm glad it's being talked about.
Yeah.
You know, like it does give me hope that people are going back and watching it and going, this isn't sitting
this didn't age
me.
well. This doesn't strike modern audiences. It doesn't go unnoticed to modern audiences.
Honestly, it kind of reminds me of my response to Xander's character a lot, where like I watched it in a time where I don't know that there was enough productive conversations about, you know, how men talk about women, the obligations that women feel to men, like just all of that stuff. And like sort of the casual misogyny of not just Xander's character, like a lot of characters on TV. It's just very dominant with Xander. Like I watched it and I didn't clock it at the time. And I am sure that I was guilty of sort of not clocking the lack of people of color representation at all, because it's not just Black characters. Like it's all white people.
Right.
So I also have hope that like it is something that stands out to me now that does, you know, in a time of hopelessness, make me feel a little hope.
The march of progress is toward inclusion, is toward acceptance, is toward diversity.
But boy, are we stuck in the mud right now.
But it's not a straight line, and it doesn't happen as fast as most of us would like. But anyway, yeah. So sorry to end on such a like somber note, but that was our trivia crypt.
An important note.
Okay, fair. But that was our trivia crypt. So this is just for you guys on Patreon, and unlike the audio version of the podcast, we're never going to take this away from you.
Nope.
And share it with other people. We might release this first one as a tease to get people to want to join us here.
So I guess he's a liar.
So I'm a big fat liar. But yeah, we're going to be doing one of these for every episode going forward. So hopefully that was a little fun. If there are factoids, trivia, things you noticed.
Oh, yeah, that you want us to share.
Put them in the comments, and then we can scoop them up and add them to a later one.
Scoop? Yeah.
And add. Scoop and add.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching even more of us. And we'll see you Monday for our next episode.
And we're closing the crypt.
Bye.